Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here, and it is Thursday, October the 7th, 8:30 a.m. EST. We got all-time highs in the markets. Everybody thought the government shutdown would cause the markets to fall, but I continue to tell you over and over again, the markets must go up. Right? The markets must go up. Now, of course, there are always pullbacks and there could be significant pullbacks. I believe this was a 1% pullback that happened within a few days, going back to Thursday, the 23rd of September. That was on the NASDAQ, and that is a significant pullback in the stock market. So don't get me wrong, the market will go down. But if you just zoom back out, actually, let me take that back. That is a 2.5% fall in the market. And that is significant to happen over a 2 or 3 day period, but it's right back up in just as little time and making all-time highs despite the government shutdown. And if we take a look at the markets, it's pretty clear if you zoom out and you look on the weekly chart that the markets must go up. Sure, you have the tariff tantrum, and that was significant. I think it was a 17% drop. Then it happened within, a month. I take that back. That was a 27% drop. That is significant. But you know what? Within that same amount of time, it was a V-shaped recovery right back up. The markets must go up is the general theme. All right. So now nothing is forever. And I would certainly say that the US-based market system is not forever. But as it stands right now, it is the best game in town. It is where all the money flows to, and this is why the markets go up. Now, we had some targets here from, I think it was just our Monday video, or it might have been the prior week, as to where price might go if we get all-time highs. It's these two lines, and the first target was met just a few hours ago, 2.5 hours ago. The next target probably will be met in the next few hours. So the markets are going to head up. But what's interesting about what's going on right now in general, especially if you are a forex trader, but this applies to everything. This applies to crypto, stocks. We're not getting our data like we usually get for US announcements, and I'm assuming that is because the government shut down. We usually have on Thursdays at least one item. It's the unemployment data, and we're just not seeing that. So not sure what's going on there. Later today, though, at 9:05 p.m. EST, Bank of Japan Governor Ueda speaks. So we have to be very careful with trading the Japanese yen. We might see the yen slow down today in anticipation of him speaking. And also the German bank is closed today, which that's the largest economy in Europe, financially and industrially. And that might slow things down looking at the Euro chart. And China looks to have bank holidays all week. So let's get back into the charts and take a look at Bitcoin, see how it is doing. It is continuing to push up. We had Bitcoin break right through the liquidity that we mapped out yesterday, the day before, and Bitcoin is now sitting currently at 119,000, and it was at 119,400, and it's just below that at 119,150, and the algo just keeps calling moves up as it just did right now. Let's take a brief look at the algos to see if this should continue. Give me just a moment here to move my screens around. Yeah, it does look as if things are pretty bullish. Now, at this time, we do have some resistances with which price must contend, and it's pretty much the all-time high that we have to look at, which is just below 125. It's 124,500. Price is right up at 119. So what we're looking at is either Bitcoin just continuing up. We are now officially in October. October tends to be bullish for Bitcoin, and price may just continue up. Or what we may see is price, instead of making new all-time highs, it may simply go sideways until it does so and create some sort of range. Maybe the range I'm drawing, maybe a different kind of range. It could be messier than a range, but either way, I think it's going to be sideways and then up, and up might come sooner than you think. October is historically a bullish month, and the minute October started, price really ramped up. So I would expect price to at least head up to test the highs after not too long. Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be next week, but this is what I expect with Bitcoin. And as it reaches those highs, I will have an eye on the algos to try to guess if it's going to break it out. Now, I would not necessarily go long prior to the highs breaking out. Bitcoin is a wily beast. It will stop you out. As soon as it breaks out, all the moon boys pile in, and then it might just break down and grab their stop losses and then move up. So just, word of caution trading Bitcoin. It can be tricky. You'll have to pardon me there. I do have some allergies. It's just a seasonal thing. All right, good. So we looked at the NASDAQ. We looked at Bitcoin. USD JPY, again, it's very range bound and it is heading towards the bottom of that range. And, nice move down on the European session 2 nights ago. Or for Europe 2 mornings ago, really. So we'll have to see if this continues that range. There is a support, as I talked about on Tuesday, right here at 146,597 ish, and it has bounced up on the lower time frames. If I were to go down, you will see a nice bounce right at the line that I drew. Nice bounce. Again, one the other day, one right here. And there's a good chance that the Japanese yen is going to push up. It's really the dollar against the yen. The yen will actually technically go down while the dollar goes up. And there's a good chance it will reverse back down like this. We'll have to see how that goes, but that's what I expect to see. Something like that, right? Let's take a look at the euro. Very range bound. Price action wise, it does appear like it wants to go ahead and head back down to test the bottom of the range. Although lately, again, like the Japanese yen, it's not really the bottom of the range as you would look at from a peer standpoint. I would almost have this range look like this at this point, and have the euro possibly head down. Now the euro could slow down as the German bank is closed today, but we'll see about that. It might be more about what the dollar does than what the euro does, right? So let's take a look at AUD USD very briefly. Okay, good. So I had this set up, and I told everybody in Algo Factory yesterday that this is a good setup, but I would look for a breakout above the neckline for this big head and shoulders that's going on right there. And I told them that, it's just a setup. My stop loss, I just threw a box up here. This, stop loss isn't where I would necessarily have the stop loss. I'd wait until I entered the trade. And you can see that there was some game playing here. It's hard to see on this screen here, but this particular candle is evidence of a lot of game playing right there. You have a candle that is an atypical candle. It's got kind of not a long body at all, but the way this candle is shaped with these long wicks on top of it, and then this body that is not too short in the middle, that looks to me like some games were being played. Probably some news came out, and instead of breaking to the upside, it did not. And I told everybody at Algo Factory yesterday that I would not enter this trade until I was comfortable with it. And this actually happened yesterday at 6 a.m. I wanted to see a breakout and a pullback before I entered that trade, right? I wanted to see something like that. And I did not see it. And we did not, well, at least I didn't take that trade, but it's still a valid setup. The head and shoulders has not been broken out yet. To look at the algos on this, does it have the juice? Yeah, it kind of has the juice. We'll see about it. But I would, the way to trade these, there are a couple of ways. One of them is to buy the breakout. Technically, it broke right here, broke the head and shoulders neckline, but that's very risky. To at least let it break out, head up, pull back, break the new high, that's the safe way to play it. And so in this case, anybody playing too risky got hurt, or they're still in a trade, but they're at a loss. Not me, not in it, not dealing with it. This trade in particular, one that is very, very well met as far as the rules are concerned, doing very well. So that one is a nice one to have on the docket, if you will. And yeah, it's just the Japanese yen is strong right now, so it's predictably going to gonna move. It's, with I don't know why it's strong like that. Defending the Japanese yen is something that and again, we're reading other people's email, as V the Gorilla would say. So I don't really know who's saying what on the inside, right? But the Japanese yen has been a liquidity solution for the US equities market and really the world equity market, but especially the US equities market. They print cheap yen, they trade their cheap yen for US denominated debt or other assets all throughout the world. It could be any kind of debt. And then that yen is used as liquidity solution for a lot of things. And the stock market is one of them. So money flows into the yen when the stock market is doing badly and out of the yen while the stock market is doing well. And that's kind of interesting because the stock market is doing well during this time while the yen is actually getting stronger, pushing the dollar down. So that's a little bit of a move that is not that well explained, except that the Bank of Japan must be protecting the yen. That's the only explanation I have. So who knows? Whatever the case may be, though, definitely moving in the upward direction, meaning that the yen is going to push this British pound down because it's the pound in terms of the yen. So when the yen gets stronger, this chart goes down, and this is why we see this doing what it's doing. All right, so interesting stuff. Decent move on that. Let's take a quick look. Let me see here. You know what? We are actually at the time when I'm going to rotate over to the live lab. So look, a couple things going on. I'm going to put a video out ideally later today where I'm going to build an algo, and it's an algo that you can make profitable if you know what you're doing. If you know how to optimize algos and if you know how to trade them. Because I could give you the perfect algo and you'll fail most likely because you don't understand the rest of trading, right? Having a good algo does not mean that you will be profitable. It just means that you have a good algo. You have to know how to use it. You have to know how to manage your money properly. You have to know how to, take risks in a proper manner. You have to know a lot of things that trading involves. Like 99% of trading is outside of clicking the button to get into the trade. That's just how it is. So that said, I am going to create an algo and I'm going to show you how I translate that algo into code by using Grok AI. It can be done with any AI, Gemini, ChatGPT. It's all the same. Some perform better than others and there's some, quirks, but I do that. I translate it into code. I show you how I correct that code because there oftentimes are corrections. So I show you how to kind of fix those little errors and then you have an algo on the screen. In fact, this is it right here. These little arrows. And I actually changed it into a strategy where it'll actually test the strategy for you as well. So it's pretty cool stuff. And then once I'm done with that, I give you some information on how to connect that algo to your trading account so it'll trade for you. So it's a cool video. It's coming out soon. So go ahead, stay tuned. And I'll have that out ideally by tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to go over to the private live lab. So thank you all for watching. We're going to see you on Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. EST for the live lab. And it may be that next week we have our live trading back. I know Miko was having some family over or whatever is, so, it's one of those things where I'd love to do it every week if I could, but it's just going to depend on everybody's schedules. So, and of course, if while I'm doing these videos, if I see a trade, I will take it. But in the meantime, I want to thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week and look out Monday for the weekly forecast video.
Join us or die.
Just kidding. You're not going to die. We love you.